Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the Hidizs MS5. This is Hidizs' latest offering. It's a 1+4 hybrid IEM, and it's got some features which are the standout features, which basically justify its price, justify its sound, justify everything about the whole design premise of the IEM. The first thing is you can see it straight away by the picture of the faceplate. It's a kind of an open back or semi-open back design. Okay, the second, let's say, feature that they've wanted to make sure that we all kept in mind was the use of a 10mm liquid silicone dynamic driver. And why they mentioned that? Because liquid silicone drivers, the diaphragm obviously they're referring to, for some reason have been used now lately in the more higher end IEMs. I've noticed that trend, and they have the peculiarity of having when obviously tuned towards that manner, but they have the peculiarity of having this very impactful, very it's a quick, impactful, very textured bass, and the Hidizs, the MS5 delivers in that aspect. And also the fact that it's using 4 balanced armatures by Sonion. So those are kind of in the terms of the design or the features that they wanted us to be aware of. And then the other feature also which has to do with the design is the use of these interchangeable nozzles, which I'll show them to you in a second, which again alter the sound, and they alter the sound in a pretty significant manner, especially in the above 1K area. Below that it remains always the same, doesn't really change. And the usage of the different tips obviously will affect as well how those nozzles then work. And we all know that tips at the end of the day are the most important thing to keep in mind. Yes, a cable fine can help out, but as long as the cable is of decent quality, and fulfill certain basic parameters, the tips are the ones that are going to really make the big difference. And it's got 3 tips. It's got a standard one, which is the one that you see here in the center, which they call it the balanced. It's got then a tip which is and that one is in a goldish color. It's got a tip which is red, which is the bass tip. They call it the bass tip. And then they've got a tip which is silver, and that's the treble filter. Okay, I'm using the bass filter, and in a few minutes when I get into the sound and so on and so forth, I'll explain the reason why. Anyway, there's one detail here that is important to keep in mind with regards to the specs, or not to keep in mind, but to pay attention to, which is it has a according to them, a 5.3 ohm impedance. That means that depending on what you're going to hook it up to, and if we use that 1:8 ratio rule, there is some equipment that might run into a little bit of trouble in maintaining the overall let's say integrity of the sound signature. And why? Because that impedance matching between the output of the amplifier or whatever you got connected to, when it sees such a low impedance like this from the IEM, can struggle a little bit to generate the required current needed to drive it properly. On the other hand, the good thing is that although you do find sometimes that these very low impedance earphones are also low sensitivity and then require a ton of power, over here we don't really require a ton of power. What we do require is a solid amplifier capable of handling these low loads, and decent power. It plays loud. I mean, this thing can play loud. Make no mistake about that. Okay, anyway, let me just quickly take you through the box. Very typical, classy, Hidizs in that department. They know what they're doing. They don't disappoint. So the box, you open it up. IEMs came over there. Lift that away, and then inside, let me just get this out of the way here. Sorry guys. And then inside, we had the carrying case over there with some paperwork and so on. Let's get that out of the way as well. And then we have this tray, which brings the different types of tips that they've offered, which is vocal, bass, and balanced. I tried them all. I tried all the filters as well, and I ended up opting for the bass tips or the comply, which are the ones that I actually got on right now. And then the mentioned filters. As you can see, there's the silver, which is a treble, the gold one is on the place of the bass, which I'm using the bass ones as well. I tried the various filters, and the treble was just too intense. And what do I mean by intense? It's not that the MS5, in my opinion at least, or at least with my music and with my ears, and I didn't find that it got to the point where it was harsh or aggressive. No, it gets really intense. But it's more about the balance of things. And I found that with the treble filter, for example, it just made it sound or come across as a V signature, when in reality, in my opinion, I don't consider it to be a kind of a V signature. If anything, a very mild V signature, okay, with a seriously impactful bass. And when you look at the curve, and you never in your wildest dreams think that that's going to have that amount of bass. And then with the bass tip, okay, with the bass filter, sorry, and with the bass tip, which is what I'm using, the treble, the upper mids and treble present are more than sufficient. I mean, you do not require any more of this. Coupled to the fact that this thing plays loud, I think that perhaps, and I was actually swapping some ideas with a fellow reviewer, I think that perhaps what might happen with some people is if they are not careful with this selection of filter and tips, which I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to spend a few hours around this to find the right match. It's not a straightforward thing like you sometimes do in other IEMs. No, you're going to have to spend a bit of time. If you don't pay attention to that, and if you don't pay attention to how much you turn the volume knob, this thing it has the ability to murder your ears, okay? Let's make no mistake, it plays loud. It's got loads of energy. I mean, seriously, loads of energy. It almost has that kind of all BA kind of energy ability that you don't really have to crank it all that much, and you've got loads of volume. Okay, so yeah, got the tips. I'm going to leave that over here so we can talk about it a little bit more in detail. As for the IEM itself, first of all, I just want to call your attention to the cable. The cable is a very nice, high quality affair. I mean, beautiful braiding. It just looks the part. It's an 8-core cable. It just looks really nice. It's an absolute pleasure when I see an IEM of this price, or even cheaper. I mean, an IEM that comes to mind that brings an amazing cable for the price is the Jazeera 41T. I mean, that thing for what it is, and the cable that it brings, and this. I'm equally as stoked, because I mean, as far as I've been able to ascertain, the price is going, or the initial launch price is going to be $379. So that's big money, and for $379, especially in the current market situation where the competition is extremely tough, you want to make sure that whatever accessories you are including are justifying the price that you're asking for your IEM. And in that department, I can tell you right now, Hidizs scores top marks. The cable is top marks. I actually measured the cable to see how it performed. It fills my parameters, at least, that I look for perfectly. It's high quality, doesn't tangle, nothing. The terminations are fine. They look really nice, premium. It would have been nice if it was a modular cable. I won't deny it. It would have been nice, or then maybe if it was available in 4.4, it would have been nice as well. But a modular cable, I think, is something which is we have gotten used to it, and that would have been nice. And then the other thing that and this was actually annoying me, to be honest, was the ear hooks that it brings. And I've removed the actual ear hook. I've taken it out because it was just ridiculous. The ear hook that it brings did this to the IEM, okay? And trust me when I say it did this, and for you to open it up, you really had to make a concerted effort to open it up. And it just pushed the IEM completely out of my ear. And this thing is a big IEM. You can see this is a big boy. Just for the sake of comparison, let me, for example, get you a Cannon. Let me get the same size, the right side. Okay, this is a Yanyin Cannon. This is the MS5. That is a big boy, okay? I mean, big boy. Seriously big IEM. It is not a small IEM, okay? So when you got something this big, and you're gonna shove it into your ear, you want to make sure that it stays there. You don't want to have it fall out at every minute or so, or having to be constantly adjusting it. So the ear hook is something that if you're gonna keep the stock cable, which I think you should, remove the ear hook, people. Trust me, remove it. The fit that you will get is completely different. Everything about the dynamics of this IEM just changes dramatically without that hair hook. And this is the one attention that I want to tell Hidizs to fix it. Either provide without a ear hook, or then make it a very supple, very soft ear hook. It doesn't need to be the ear hook that is there present. Otherwise, in terms of fit, as I mentioned, yes, it's a big IEM, but you won't have really any big issues fitting it once you've found the right tip combination. It's got a nice overall length of the nozzle, so it allows for a relatively deep insertion. And it's fine. I mean, it didn't really bug me. I would, if it was a little bit smaller, it would have been fine. But I'm used to big IEMs. I like big IEMs. That they don't bug me as long as I can get them to sit in securely, which I was able to do. It's all flying colors for me. No real issues. So in terms of, let's say, the hardware side of things, accessories, cable, build qualities, I mean, it's exceptional. You see the terminations of this IEM, you see how it's finished, and it's just an absolute work of art. Forgive my finger there, sorry guys, I know I've got ugly hands. Anyway, it's an absolute work of art. This is a seriously beautiful IEM. I mean, oops, sorry about that. There we go, focus, focus please. Today would have been nice. There we go. That is a beautiful IEM. It just screams premium. I mean, I've got a really nice IEM now here that I'm going to be reviewing as well for you guys. I can just show it to you in a second. which is, I mean, this is to date the most expensive, well, one of the most expensive IEMs that I've had the opportunity to get my hands on, which is this baby here, the Plussound Allegro. And I mean, this thing is talk about a premium build. There we go. Talk about a premium build. This thing has a premium build. Beautiful. I mean, this is $3,000+ of IEM, so it better have a good build. And the truth is, for me at least, this doesn't give much away to the Allegro. It doesn't, it doesn't. Just the shell actually here is just simple, and while the Allegro shell has got that, faceted finish. But it doesn't give much away. Anyway, on to what we want to know. Enough rambling and going on. What do I have here to compare the Hidizs to? Well, simple. First of all, let me just say the following. This has a different sound signature, in the sense that when you see the signature, you automatically kind of think of a particular sound, and then when you hear it, it is very different. The signature that you see, the graph, and the sound that you get are not exactly matching. And although graphs are graphs and they're not an indicator of what a thing is going to sound or what an earphone is going to sound like, we like to look at the graphs and kind of say to ourselves, okay, I think I might like this. And what I can tell you is that the MS5, has got a signature which is somewhat reminiscent, in my opinion, to the ISN Audio H50. And it is basically a signature which, or the sound that comes out of these IEMs, is a sound that is very kind of specific for you have to be, I don't want to sound like I'm being mean by what I'm about to say, but you have to have a certain acquired taste. You have to have, you have to have a more mature kind of hearing style and be open to different ways of tuning and so on and so forth. So this is not a Harman-tuned IEM. No, it isn't. And if that is your preferred tuning style, or if your preferred tuning style is a diffuse field, this is not that. Okay, this is an alternative tuning, which I've got absolutely nothing against. I love alternative tunings, in my opinion, and it has been well done. In my modest opinion, the MS5 has been very well tuned. Okay, so I've tried to select here IEMs which have got more traditional signatures, have got more unusual signatures and are priced more or less within what that costs. IEMs that I like. Okay, the first one is the Rose Technics QT9 MK2S 1+4, kind of a little bit forgotten, but I remember when I reviewed it, I said that I liked it more than the Blessing 2, and it stands. I like this more than the Blessing 2. There are details about it which are inferior to the Blessing 2, but overall it is an amazing sounding IEM that unfortunately had perhaps a harder time, being more successful, because this costs now around $220 roughly at HiFi Go, if I'm not mistaken. Purely because a lot of IEMs came out right after the QT9 came out, and they came out with more, let's say, satisfying signatures for the general public. One of them is the one that's right next to it. It's the Aful Performer 5. So much has been said about it. I'm not going to spend too much time, but as far as 1+4 hybrids go, this is probably one of the best ones out there. Okay, not only at its price, just over $200, but at much higher prices. Okay, this thing can compete with IEMs which are way more expensive. I think it's a far better IEM than the Blessing 2 as well. I honestly do. Okay, then on this far right here, I've got an IEM that's also been around for just over a year, and I had forgotten about it a little bit and how good it is, which is the Yanyin Cannon, with the three switches that allow for also you to change the tuning of it. And this thing is an absolute animal of an IEM. The versatility that it offers. In the setting that I'm currently running it in, which is the setting that I actually, initially when I heard it, was like, okay, this is a little bit too intense. Let me go for something more relaxed. But the setting that I've got it now in, which is the 000 setting, where you have everything, let's say, or at least the bass performing at its maximum potential, the mids and highs, it's slightly more subdued. This thing is incredible bass, incredible. Honestly, it's an incredible IEM, and I'm sure those that have the Canon and can appreciate it for what it is will concur with me. In the 010 setting, it then becomes a totally different beast. It becomes more neutral, more tame. The bass is just sufficed. The mids open up. It is one of the few IEMs with the tuning switches, they are doing something there. They're not just there to look pretty, they actually change. And then the other final IEM that I brought out to compare the MS5 with is one of my favorite hybrids, okay, the H50. I absolutely adore this IEM. Period. End of story. Amazing. Canon, H50, Aful Performer 5, three of my favorite hybrid IEMs. All right, that's the truth. 1+4, 1+4, 1+4, 1+4, 1+4. All right, onto the sound. Bass. Wow. Quick, impactful, big cubic inches. Let me just say this, big cubic inches. It's got a really amazing bass, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm using the bass filter and the bass tip. Nothing, because it stays the same. What changes is the dynamics of the mids, upper mids and highs, and that bass stays there always the same. It is an incredible bass, every bit, in my opinion, as good and as comparable to the bass of the Canon. That's the truth. The Canon has got amazing bass. This has got bass which is as good, if not even better, perhaps. Okay, in certain songs there was songs that I thought the bass here was just surreal. Case in point, just so that you guys can know when you actually look at the playlist, From Dusk to Dawn from George Duke. The drum on this thing is unreal. Coccyx Balance, Fat Code Studios. It's a bass drum stuff. Wow. Little Fugue in G minor from Jacques Lassonnier Trio. Incredible. Trust me when I say incredible. This might sound like I'm shilling. No, I'm not shilling. I'm just enthusiastic about something that I hear and I like, and the bass on these, unreal. No bleeding into the mids, no nothing. The mids vocals are perfect in my opinion. Male, female vocals. There's no, perhaps, yes, I will say that if you are using the treble filter, the female vocals can get a little bit intense. They can get borderline, just a little bit too much. You know, you will listen to something like, let me see here. Let me give you a good example. I'm in Love from Mary J. Blige. It can sound overly intense, okay? It can sound overly intense. It doesn't bug me personally, but it can sound overly intense. I can see that there are people that might think it's too much. And that's why I was saying earlier that this is an IEM that requires you to have patience in choosing the tips and so on and so forth, and having that ability to have a little bit more of an acquired taste. And this, I don't mean this in a bad way, trust me people, I don't mean, you know, we can all love cars. We can all love cars and of big aficionados of cars. That doesn't necessarily mean that we all will know how to drive that car to its full potential. That's what it is. You know, you can love to have a Ferrari, you know, or a Lamborghini, but that doesn't necessarily mean you will appreciate it for everything that it can do, because you just don't have the ability to extract the maximum out of it. And you know, you can really enjoy the looks of this IEM and think that it's amazing and so on and so forth, but if your ears are not capable of getting the full potential of what this IEM can do or can offer, then you know, you can walk away saying, well, you know, Akros was saying that it was amazing and actually doesn't sound that good. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, ears are ears. That's the beauty of this hobby, is that what I like you guys might not like, and what you like I might not like, and that's why it's extremely important that I try and be capable enough to pick up on different versatilities, different styles, different everything. When I don't like something, trust me, it's not easy for me to say that I don't like it, because I've tried to see it from various angles, and it's a very ungrateful thing. You know, it is not an easy being a reviewer or trying to be a good reviewer is a very ungrateful task to do, in my opinion. It's very ungrateful, because if you choose something that everybody likes, then you're the man, you're the thing. If you choose something and there's maybe 3 or 4 people that don't like it, then automatically you don't know what you're saying, you're whatever, and this and that, and you get completely criticized. Anyway, that's a side rant. So mids, vocals, amazing. Tone and tonality, they are good but colored, okay, in my opinion. They are, let me see here, for example, let me think of a song that I can try and explain what I mean. On the Morning from Robin Ford, exactly. You got the guitar going there, you got the mandarin, and sometimes, well, it's not sometimes, it sounds really good, super clean, super detailed, but it can sound sometimes just a little bit artificial in the way that tonality comes across. Again, it doesn't bug me personally. And I think it's all down to the high energy that this IEM has, because it is a truly high energy IEM. You know, you listen to this, for example, and straight away you go listen to the QT9, and the QT9 is dead by comparison. You know, it's like, did somebody just switch off the BAs and the bass? What happened? Are we listening to a micro DD now? You know, that's the kind of difference that the MS5 conveys. Okay. You listen to, for example, Up and Up from Jeff Ryan, and you got this sax that you can hear in the background. It's not that it doesn't sound correct, it does sound correct, but it is slightly colored. It doesn't sound as natural as, for example, as on the H50. In the H50 it sounds more natural. On the Performer 5 it sounds more natural. Even in the Cannon it sounds more natural. Over there it sounds just a little bit artificial. But again, it doesn't bug me, it doesn't bother me. I enjoyed it, I liked it, because it is a very well done high energy. Okay. Highs. Again, for the most part, but keep in mind, with the bass filter, fine. Just the occasional just a little bit, just really strong, not aggressive, not sibilant, just strong. And I can see that if I find that to be that way, and my hearing obviously isn't what it used to be when I was younger, I can foresee that a younger person which has still got his full capacity in terms of his hearing ability, in terms of extension up top, might find that aggressive. It can happen. But there are songs that, like Tin Pan Alley from Stevie Ray Vaughan. Wow. It's wow. Another one that I was like blown away with, Lay It Down from Lee Retnoy. I mean, this I think you can maybe hear it in the background slightly. The way the guitar and the drum work is going there, wow. I mean, wow. Seriously, wow. Really nice. I mean, you listen to that same song in the Performer 5, it's nice, but it's all smooth, because the Performer 5 it's all about being smooth, present, easy to listen to, very, very, very chilled out. The same thing with the QT9. Over here, this means business. Over here, it means business. Over here, it's again more relaxed. They've got the difference, I think the biggest difference here between the MS5 and the H50 is that it's the overall level. So if you actually match the volumes, they sound very similar. If you're not careful with the volumes, this thing look, unquestionably the loudest playing IEM of the ones here, and one of the loudest IEMs that I have in my collection. Easy. Mexican Margarita from Jacob Guverich. Amazing song as well. I mean, really nice. High Stepping from Larry Carlton, again, really nice. Twilight from Brian Simpson, really nice. It does it really, really good. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the frequency spectrum, there was really nothing there that I can say was off or wrong or bad. The mids, which maybe be the upper mids can maybe be a problem for some, as long as is the treble, if you want to be careful with what filter you're using and what to tip. That's it. All right. Soundstage, huge soundstage, very wide, tall, deep, imaging spot on. You could, perfect panning left and right, like Right on Time from George Duke. I like using that song for that effect. Beautiful. Does it spotless. Detailed retrieval, spotless as well. Loads of detailed retrieval. It almost kind of, especially when you have it in the with the balanced filter, and with the treble filter becomes too much, but with the balanced filter, it almost feels like you have an EST at times. Okay, it almost feels like you have an EST. That's how much twinklies and sparklies it can go and pick up on. So yeah, that's basically covering it. Soundstage is amazing. Imaging is spot on as well. Detailed retrieval is spot on, perfect. Really, the only real technicality there that sometimes is, can occasionally be off depending on the song, is the tone and the tonality can be a little bit off, but nothing that I personally thought, okay, no, it's really wrong, I don't like it, it's too much. It's got a nice colored way of doing things, let's put it that way. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Compare then to the IEMs that I have here, and this is not so much about trying to find a position for it, or this is the best, that's not the best. No, they are all of them, as I said, they've got similarities and they've got differences. Compared to the QT9S, it's the polar opposite. The QT9S is a smooth listening IEM. By comparison, it actually sounds like this has got recessed mids, but no, it doesn't. It's just the amount of energy that's got that makes it you feel this way. But otherwise, the QT9 it's a very nice, relaxed IEM, so that it's got a specific crowd that would enjoy it. Okay, if you like listening to more relaxed presentations and so on and so forth, the QT9 is for you. As compared to the Performer 5 as well, very much the same situation. The Performer 5 is a jack of all trades. It plays well everything. There's really nothing that it won't play well. And there's a reason why it's been successful, and there's a reason why it's one of the best hybrid IEMs available, period. I mean, one of the IEMs that I have as a reference, and I just don't have it here because it makes, in my opinion, it's being discontinued, so it makes no point to talk about it too much. But one of the IEMs that I have as my reference is the Awur Audio Awur, and for me this trades blows with the Awur. I know some people might not agree with me, but it trades blows with the Awur. It doesn't. If anything, actually, I think that it's got even a little bit more of detail up top as compared to the Awur. But it trades blows with the Awur, and that speaks a lot for this IEM, because the Awur is was almost a $400 IEM, and it was a 1+6, not a 1+4. So that positions this very well. So compared to the MS5, if you are looking for a good all-rounder that does everything well, definitely yes. And for $200, and I've seen it even below $200 at HiFi Go, you can't go really wrong. I mean, these are two different price ranges over here. This is actually the cheapest out of everyone that's over here. I mean, that's $380. That's $200. There's a big price difference here. Compared to the Canon, I think these three have got more in common than what they have in terms of difference. If these two here do step away because they've got a lot of differences towards the MS5, these three have got a lot in common. As long as the volumes are matched, and more so here between the MS5 and the H50, and less so with the Canon, but as long as the volumes are matched, the bass on each one of them is very good. The two obviously that stand out with the better, more impactful bass are the MS5 and the Canon, and between these two, it's it's a hard one. The bass there is as every bit as detailed, in the sense that it can go deep as well. It's got enough impact, but it just lacks that ultimate quickness that you get from the hits in the MS5 and on the Canon. Perhaps down to a different tuning option, perhaps down to just the driver not being as capable in terms of its magnetic capabilities, because that's what will dictate the quickness of a driver, is the not only the diaphragm, yes, but it's the how strong that magnetic system or that magnetic field created around the coil is. And these two, I'm sure, have a driver or have drivers which are probably more capable than the driver of the H50, and that's why you can pick up on that difference. Mid-wise, very similar as well. Although having said that, the H50 is slightly more chilled out than the Canon and the MS5. It is, and when you see the graph, you'll understand why I say that. And then in terms of highs, again, the highs there are good, but slightly more relaxed, slightly more tame as compared to the MS5 and Canon. These two, the highs are very much equal, and the fact that you can play around with the highs there on the filters, and you can play around with the highs here with the switches, you can match them better or worse. It's depending on what your ultimate taste is. The only thing that I found that the Canon sometimes does is that you can get slightly the 5K, at least for me, it can slightly sometimes be a little bit, it can hurt me, but it's very seldomly, honestly. I'm just calling this attention because the 5K for me is my area where it gets me, okay? But again, the Canon is an IEM that trades blows very nicely with the Awur, which was kind of my main reference in terms of hybrids, and it trades blows with the Awur very well. Better bass than the Awur, unquestionably, in terms of quantity and maintaining the same quality, better than the Awur. And it should, because it has got a better dynamic driver than the Awur. The Awur, for what it was and what it had, it was doing wonders, because that 8mm was fantastic. That's the truth, but this has got better bass. Well, the name says it all as well. So yeah, guys, there you have it. $379, it's big money. That's the value for pre-sale. How much it's going to go up higher, I don't know. All I do know is that it's competing with a highly aggressive market. You have the Blessing 3, which is cheaper, and it's 2 dynamic drivers plus 4 BAs. Fair enough, it's going to have a different sound. I'll be having the Blessing 3 soon enough, and then I can make a comparison. So that's not a problem. But you got the likes of the Blessing 3. You got the likes of stuff like, for example, the Soundrime DTE 500, which is a hybrid which costs just over $400. You also have a hybrid from ISN Audio, the EST50, which costs just over $400 as well. So you got a lot of IEMs priced in and around this, which are really, really good. And you would have to be, you have to listen to it. Do I rec it? Do I personally recommend it? Yes, I do. I liked it. I enjoyed it very much. But to be safe and to not be then, having a finger pointed at me saying, oh, you recommended it and it's not. Don't go buy it. Go listen to it. That's it. If you have the opportunity to listen to it, listen to it. If, on the other hand, my explanation and my comparison and the way I've been trying to set the stage for it has been good enough for you to get a good feel about it, and if, for example, you own a Canon, if you own the Canon, you will like that. Definitely. I can guarantee you that much. If you own the Canon, you will like that. There are things that this does that the Canon does not do. Okay? And they are very similar. And there also are things that the Canon does that the MS5 doesn't do. Right? If you like the H50, I personally think that you will also like that. Keeping in mind, though, that the H50 is a more relaxed, more tame version of this, just because of the energy levels, not so much because of the way the frequency is. All right, fair enough. You have to play with the filters here to get a sound which is similar to that, which is what I did. I like the sound of that, so I played around with the filters here until I found something which pleased me and gave me the sound that I liked. The same thing like I did on the Canon with the switches. That's the truth. All right. So yeah, guys, that's it. I mean, I'll show you the graphs now and take it from there, See you. Hi guys, welcome now to the graph section of the MS5. And the graphs I'm going to show you are all based on the base filter. Okay, I might show you maybe one not based on the base filter just for the sake of comparison, but these graphs I'm going to show you now are all using the base filter and then the various tips that I tried. So this first graph that you see is the base filter with the balance tip that comes stock. So everything sits within a window of 72 actually, to roughly 7980, about 9 dBs. So yeah, I guess you could say this is a V-shape signature. Although the funny thing is, there's so much energy in this section here of the mids and upper mids that it doesn't feel that they are in any way recessed as compared to the upper treble, to the treble and upper treble. No, it doesn't. So this is with the balanced. The next one that I'm going to show you is using the vocal tip, so the one that supposedly opens up the vocals more. And in my opinion, not really. It actually went and emphasized too much this area here of 5, 6, 7K, which can start to make things a little bit too intense, and it can be a problem for some. All right, so although the rest remains the same, as you can see, the bass, the transition from the bass into the mids is perfect. It's flat by 300 hertz almost. It's flat and it stays nice and smooth, has the most gradual of pinna gains, as you can see. And then really things only start happening and changing is like from 4K onwards, okay? That's then with the vocal tip. The next one is using the bass tip, and I'm actually just going to remove one of them now so that we can just see things a little bit better. So with the bass tip, again, you might think, oh, but it's lost. I'm just going to remove here the balanced. It's lost a lot. No, it hasn't. In terms of upper mids, they are just as energetic as always. And the reality is the black line here you don't feel this recession in any way in the upper mids. And yes, what the bass tip has is dropped that energy that we have there at 5, 6, 7K, and it's much more pleasurable to listen to this way. And then there's also more extension, past 10K. And this here, for example, is something that usually is an indicator of how 3Dness, that spaciousness, and plenty. I mean, MS5 top marks there. So that's what the bass tip, which was one of the tips that I use the most. I'm just going to remove here the treble one, sorry, the vocal one, and then the final tip that I used as well, and the one that I actually had on when I was talking to you earlier, is the comply. Oops, let me just align it, it's out of whack there. And the comply, as you can see, be it the comply foam, or be it the stock silicone bass tip, they are basically the same thing. Really not much of a difference. I honestly couldn't tell much of a difference, if any. Okay, so that's the graph of the MS5. I'm going to leave the comply graph on and now compare it with the rest so we can see things better. Okay, so that's what the comply, which is how I did most of my listening. Let me just clear out some of the stuff here that's just unnecessary. That can go. All right, let's put now here straight away the rose techniques. Let's align the rose techniques, and I'm gonna try and do everything at 500 hertz. So I'm going to keep everything aligned with 500 hertz. You would think by seeing this that, oh wow, the rose techniques has got more live mids, more significant. No, it doesn't. The mids are very good on the rose techniques, make no mistake, very good. This whole, although there's an early pin again, this whole area here of the mids, upper mids, is very well executed. There's no sibilance, there's nothing. Really good sound stage as well. And the rose techniques, the QT9 is a very, very good IEM. Okay. Let me now put the where are we? There we go. The Aful Performer 5, 6, number 6. There we go. Again, sorry guys, I have to recenter it because I was messing around. Let me just again now normalize it at 500 hertz. That's normalized at 500 hertz. I'm just going to remove here the rose techniques for a second. Graphically, bass and so on seem very similar. That whole area between 3 and 8K or 9K, again, very similar. The difference that exists is here. Listening to it, no, I didn't feel there was a difference. What you do notice, yes, is that the Performer 5 is way more relaxed. And that's the thing about the MS5. It is, the graph doesn't show what it is capable of doing in terms of energy, because it is a very highly energetic IEM. Okay, so that's the Performer 5. Now let's put up the where is it? The Cannon in the setting that I'm now currently using, which is the 000 setting, number 7. Okay, so we'll take out the Performer 5, Cannon number 7. Let's align it again, normalize it at 500 hertz. There we go. It's the one that, without a doubt, emulates the bass of the MS5 the best. It's basically there. I didn't feel this difference here, honestly. Maybe perhaps you can pick up on it here and there, but look, the reality is not many songs have got a lot of information, below 40 hertz, unless it's electronic stuff. And just trust me when I say that the bass of the MS5 is the least of your concerns. It's got plenty bass. It will satisfy, I think, even the most demanding of bass heads. Honestly, I really do think it's not a, having said that, please keep in mind, this is not a bass like the bass, for example, of a Fat Freak Maestro Mini, or the bass of, let me see another one that really digs deep and is really low. It's not like the bass of an MH750, the Sony MH750. The MH750 really went nice into the sub bass. Forget now the energy level, we're talking about quality. It's not that kind of a bass that it goes and digs down and no. but it rumbles more than enough, and it rumbles with a lot of energy. If I have to make another analogy, like I sometimes do, this is like, the bass on this is like a really good electro voice speaker. And I use electro voice because that's always been a reference of mine of what a good, powerful bass should be. Okay, that's the bass of the MS5. Really powerful, really loads of cubic inches, loads. I mean, really. Okay, so that's the Cannon. The mids of the Cannon, in my opinion, are better, although they sound similar, but they are better. There's just something about the mids there of the Cannon that are better. Not a big difference, not always, not in every song, but there are occasions where the mids of the Cannon do come out. And then this peak here, which is close to 5K, it's almost on 5K, I can pick up on it, but that's me. That's me personally, you know, so don't worry about too much. That's one of the reasons why, for example, I sometimes used the 010 setting, because although it looks like it's still the same. And let me just align them here for a second for you, and I'll align it at, also I'll normalize it as well, also at 500 hertz. You know, the fact that it's now like this, and let me just quickly take away you know, it drops the bass, which is noticeable, but the fact that everything here just drops just ever so slightly, it makes things more relaxed, more tame, just that little extra smidge, all right, that takes away that edge on specific songs that I'm talking about. And again, this is me, probably you guys won't even pick up on it or notice it or bug you at all. So back with the MS5 and with the Cannon. And finally, I think I've said it all or not. So Cannon, okay, I showed you the Aful Performer 5, I showed you the QT9, oh yes, I was forgetting, how could I forget the H50, yes, H50, oh my god, okay, H50, here's the H50. And in the case of the H50, I'm gonna show you the H50, how it sounds to me personally. Because if I normalize the H50 at 500 hertz, okay, so if I normalize it like this, it doesn't sound, for me, in my ears, I don't feel or I don't hear this difference here. It doesn't sound like the mids are recessed or anything of the sort, because the reality is the H50 sits within a window of 68 to 77, so 68 to 77, that's 9 dBs. The MS5 sits within a window of 71 to 79, so 8 dBs. Very, very similar. Everything sits, you know, in a very tight window. Both of them very tight. So I don't hear the H50 sounding like this. Now, does the H50 then sound if the way I'm going to show you now with it normalized at 1K? No, it doesn't sound. The H50 never sounds like it's got more bass than the MS5, nor does it sound like it has more energy, you know, from 3 to 9K. No way. No, as well. No more upper brilliance area as well. No. For me, the way that I hear these two at comparable volume levels is as if I've normalized it at around 700 hertz. So it might be an unusual frequency to normalize it at, but this is how I hear the MS5 and the H50, okay? Making sure that the volume levels are the same, they come across to me as very similar. The biggest difference that I notice between the two of them is that in terms of the width of the sound stage in the MS5 is bigger, so the MS5 just sounds bigger overall in sound, more spacious, okay, while the H50 sounds more cozy. The H50's got more that you know, in-house venue kind of thing, while the other one sounds more stadium-like, okay. And then in some songs as well, especially some female songs, some male vocals, you get the feeling that I got the feeling at least, that the male vocals can sound just a little bit warmer, not as cold, although they never sound cold on the MS5. That's the biggest difference. Anyway, guys, this has been a really long review. You guys are gonna kill me, but I really wanted to try and you know, make sure that I conveyed the correct message about the MS5, or at least the correct message according to me. I think it's a very well executed IEM. I think it's well built, it's well accessorized, and you know, if you spend some time playing around with the tips and with the filters and so on and so forth, I am absolutely positive that you will find a combination that will work and will sound tremendous to you, tremendous, because it is a genuinely good IEM. As for the price, well, there's nothing really we can do. There's a lot of stuff out there. So like I said earlier, you know, if you have the opportunity to go check it out, listen to it, make sure that, you know, you can play around and then choose accordingly, you know, if you didn't want or don't want. On the other hand, if you trust my opinion and if you think that my explanation here has been convincing enough, then you have your answer. You just go out and buy it. Make sure that you get it now at you know, a little bit reduced price before the price does go up, or wait then for some sales, and that's it. All right. Anyway, guys, as always, like and subscribe. Any other questions you might have, please feel free to ask me. Okay. You take care now. Bye bye.